incentive is there for Republicans? I mean, let's face it, their walkout last time, it forced major changes, it appears, to what was then 2020. What incentive is there for them to stay into this session? What are you saying to them that keeps them from saying, hey, we had great political and policy success by walking out last time?
I think that's a matter of argument. I'm not sure I would agree with that.
Well, that's what
that
I think
premise.
they seem to think.
They seem to think. People have to keep in mind that we are a committee-driven process, and most of the bills we deal with in this process are not voted on a partisan basis. They are bills that affect the whole state, and if the Republicans don't show up and they are not on these committees, the committees typically are 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans. And as a chair of, I've chaired like 4 or 5 committees while I've been here. In every single case, a bill will come up and a Republican will say, wait a second, this provision in my district this would pose a real hardship. And I'd say, well, I never knew that. And there's a solution to that. We can have this bill, we can make a little change here, and then it'll work for everybody. And that's how the process works here. If they don't show up, they're not at the table. We will still be here. We will still be doing committees. We will still be doing bills. So I think it would be a big mistake for them and their constituents to not show up and not be here to, for one, to advocate for spending in their district. They won't be here for budget decisions that affect their district. It would be a terrible mistake for them not to come.
Are you going to try to structure how you do these bills in a way aimed at really sort of trying to keep them here for things that they want? I mean, if you were just doing climate change on themselves, that's not, frankly, much of an incentive for them to stay, because they'd just be just as happy not to have that pass. But are you going trying to structure this session so that there's, if they stay for that discussion, there'll be some other bills that will be important to them? Or?
I think it's just important for them to show up to work. I'm not one of the people who is trying to strategize a way to lure them into staying. It's their job to be here. They're being paid by the taxpayers to be here. And I don't believe their constituents, certainly my constituents, I would not want to show my face if I did not show up for work. I could not show my face in my district if I refused to come to work. And so I'm not one to be gaming. We have a job to do for the people of Oregon. If they don't show up to work, they are literally violating their oath, because in the Constitution it says we have a short session. And if they're going to walk, you know, if they're not going to show up, they pretty much have to not show up for the whole session.
Senator?